I guess that's.
Com.
The following is a presentation of WLCN 96.3 FM and WLCNonline.com.
Here, cords everywhere. We're at Jake's Furnishings this morning. Jake?
Scotty.
What Christmas deals you got going on here?
Well, there's tons of deals. Everything's on sale. It's all priced to move. We're in inventory reduction. We're in full swing. We're in full swing right now.
Okay. All right. Well, it is basketball season, and that means the debut of Coach Neil Alexander. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
4 games into the season already. The Railers stand 3-1, and like every year, kick it off with the Eaton Thanksgiving tournament. How do you judge your team after 4 games? I know night 1 was a pretty easy win over Cahokia, and then we have Mount Zion, lost to Mount Zion, and then followed up with 2 more wins. Are you pleased with the progress in the early season right now?
Well, one of the things we want to work on is being consistent in our shooting. You're not going to beat many teams when you shoot 2 of 25 from 3, and that was what happened when we played Mount Zion. But this team here has got a lot of depth, a lot of places we can go, a lot of rotations, and if somebody's struggling some night, I think we have people that can come in and hopefully they're ready to play. And there's some guys that that sit on the bench that has a hard time they have to be prepared to play when their number's called. And if they'll do that and continue to work hard, it's a great group of kids. They work hard. We still have a lot of things to iron out, and it should be. It's the first part of the season.
Yeah, and Lincoln, they have a little bit of size this year and some quickness, so you're able to do a little more things. Plus, guys coming off the bench like Saucy, those last couple of games of the tournament, he played really well, and to have a spark come off the bench like that, and Gowan as well. Then you got Nelson who can come in. He's your sharpshooter, and he'll come in, he get you 3 or 4, 5 3-pointers, and so you're a little versatile right now.
Well, we are, and we are going to change the lineup a little bit. I think Tyler, there's a few reasons why, and when you got young kids like Drew Hayes, who's a sophomore, and with the depth that we got and the rotations that we have, where he's only playing about a half a game, that's not good for a sophomore. A sophomore needs to play a lot of basketball, as any kid does. So Drew has that opportunity. So we are going to play him at some JV basketball. So he can have a lot of success down there. We want him to become more of a scorer, an offensive threat, and let him develop skills down there, but yet still maintain his same minutes, but his minutes will rotate to different spots. And that's we look out, we are playing basketball this year, but we are trying to develop for future and what we have to do and what we're looking at down the road. So there's a lot of things in putting a program together and how you keep it stable. And I think I've said this many times. When I came here 33 years ago, I was hoping I could maintain what had been developed. So I think over the course of time we've done that we've maintained, and and I think it's not just a year-by-year thing. It's an overall program that has to be developed.
And that starts down, when you're 5 years old. We've got junior railers going on now. I know a lot of the grade schools have travel ball, so that's where it starts right there, and it just kind of filters up, and
it just takes time, and you gotta work at it. And over the time, we've had kids that spent a lot of time in the gym, likes being in the gym, and everything. So we are 4 games in, but we didn't play this week until today.
Right.
And starting today, we got 4 games in 8 days. So it's like almost like another tournament.
Kids would rather play than practice anyway.
Yeah,
but that gives coaches
rather practice earlier in the year and then play at the end of the year. So
you say you've been 33 years here at Lincoln. How has the game changed from day 1 till now? And then to follow that up, how have the athletes changed as far as
they haven't changed.
Or,
it's the same. The game's gotten much more physical. it's just you need a ball bat when you play now.
Yeah.
It's that physical, and if you're not physical and you can't handle being pushed around a little bit, and you're going to struggle. So not only are skills important, the weight room's very important, and I think there's more emphasis today on the weight room than there ever was throughout the year. So that would be the one thing. The athletes, they want to be coached. They're very disciplined. They'll do what you want, and the expectations here has always been and will remain the same. That we want good kids that are going to be well behaved and do well in the classroom and everything else. So we just try to keep it moving along.
So you say the game's more physical. Where do you draw that line where being physical and then getting that foul called on you? I mean, obviously different referee groups are going to call a little closer than others.
Well, that's part of the game you got to learn, is you have to adapt to the officials, and you go out and it's hard to go. If you go out and start soft and then want to try to get physical as the game goes on,
it kind of sticks out.
It sticks out. But if you go out and you start being very physical from the beginning, you're going to get away with stuff. But and one of the other things that the big change is probably coming is the shot clock. We are playing, or they have applied to the IHSA to possibly play with the shot clock at Collinsville this year. So at least the kids are going to get a little opportunity. Part of the game, teams will, I've been accused of holding the basketball, keeping scores low, but you go back and watch film and game tapes of our games, is we're not the ones holding the basketball. Usually a team will come out and they'll make the first 3 or 4 possessions. There's teams that'll hold it 2 minutes on us. We don't even get a shot the first 2 minutes of the game, and I think it's going to help us. But yet, if you think about basketball, when the game gets desperate and teams start to attack, that's where we struggle a little bit. And when you got a 35-second clock, that offense is going to be in attack mode every possession. It's not going to be wait till the fourth quarter before we get to trying to dribble, penetrate, get fouls, let it fly. So, it'll be a change. And I think one of the emphasis on a shot clock is rebounding will become much more important. You can play basketball, or you can defend for 35 seconds, but if you can't rebound, you're going to play another 35. Now, I don't know how the shot clock works. If it's like college, if you get an offensive rebound, it resets to 20 instead of 35. I don't know the rules about the shot clock and what it is whether it hits the rim and you get another 35. But that'll be something that we'll have to study up on here once we get the official word that Collinsville is going to play with it. And I'm guessing the IHSA will approve it. They're wanting people to do it just so they can have something to measure, some data for them to make a major decision about the shot clock.
Sounds like a disaster.
There'll be some ugly basketball, I'm telling you.
Because not only do the teams have to adjust, you got to find somebody to run that shot clock.
I was going to say, is Joe Ryan going to go down there and volunteer to help for the
that's
for
a tough
weekend?
Gig right there. Because if the ball...
I'm half and half as a coach. As an administrator, I'm against it.
Yeah.
First of all, it's hard to find people that want to work, but, we're going to have to teach 3, 4, 5 people how to do it.
Yeah. And then if it does go down to 20, I don't know that they'll make it that
I don't know.
Detailed. I don't know. But if they do, then you got to, that just sounds.
But, if you think about it, football has 2 sets. They have a 45-second clock, and then they have a 25-second clock. So I'm hoping that the shot clock will be ran very similar to the football play clock. to where there's just a couple buttons you hit and it resets to 45, or hit button 2, it resets to 25 or 20 or whatever. So
that's just another added cost per school too. Does the IHSA help out with that at all, or is it all on the school?
what do you think?
Well, I had to ask it. and how much added cost is that?
Well, that's how
we'll cross
have to
that
figure.
bridge when you come to it. But
we are in the process of getting our gym prepared for the shot clock. So, it's a common. It just depends on when. I think they wanted to use it as an experimental thing this year and implement it next year. But realistically, I don't think the scoreboard companies can make shot clocks that quick enough.
Yeah. So we could probably expect some IHSA officials down there as far as administration down in Collinsville.
I don't know if you'll see that. I know as coaches, I'm sure after the tournament, the IHSA will have a survey of what we thought, and and have to put some input into it just to see, because they're wanting data to see where we're at. I know through the administrative side it has not been very well accepted, but from the coaching side, I think it's probably 75-25 for the shot clock.
Yeah, I mean, kind of on the fence right now. I can see where it would be an advantage. It would help out in the Lincoln-Glenwood games, I'll tell you that. But, I just think
Taylorville games.
Yeah, I just think it's just going to take a little while to adjust, and
skills are going to become much more.
It's going to be more transition basketball, sounds like, where you got to get in your offensive set quick. I mean, there's no messing around. You got to go.
Yep.
So
it'll be interesting.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Let's get back to Lincoln Rather basketball. First road trip tonight, Coach, traveling to Mattoon. Green Wave, usually a pretty good matchup for the Railers. What are they looking like this year?
They play us well. They haven't won yet, but they've played some pretty good people. They got beat by Muhammad by 2 the other night, and we were fortunate to beat Muhammad by 21, and there's a chance that we could play Muhammad 4 times this year. Which, can you say we can beat them 20 points? Absolutely not. They're a good basketball team. So that game was at Mattoon. So Mattoon plays very well at home, and most teams in our league plays well at home. So you have to be prepared for the best from them.
So last year in the Apollo, moving to the Central State 8 next year, what kind of games outside the conference do you have on the schedule this year?
Oh, we play in our usuals. We got Rock Island, we got Quincy, we got Lanphier, Normal West. Those are 4. Then we go to Jacksonville next Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So out of the Mid-State, we got the 2 Decatur schools. They're out of the Central State 8. So I think we're playing 5 or 6 of the Central State 8s. So next year will be a different thing. We will not be playing a double round robin where we play everybody twice. It'll only be playing everybody once in conference play. Now, I have picked up the conference schools for a second game, but it won't count in the conference standings. So there are some teams that we are playing twice.
So is there 11 teams now?
11, so you'll have 10 conference games. So you'll end up, let's see, we play 4 and 4 is 8, 10, 22. We've got to find nine conference game or non-conference games.
Now, will the East and West division, will that play into basketball at all?
It will not. Okay. It's only for the football, and they've only brought Quincy Notre Dame in to even it out. And as administrator, that was a very, very big thing because of scheduling and bringing in a 12 team and being able to do that, and plus the fact that we do get 2 non-conference teams. We don't have to play everybody twice. Next year, we are playing a crossover game because Quincy Notre Dame is not in the football conference yet. They won't come in until 24-25, but next year we're playing a crossover game with the Big 12. So our crossover will be against Peoria Manual. So we'll play Manual, and then that's our non-conference game. Then we have to play 8 conference schools. Next year we will not play Sacred Heart Griffin and Decatur MacArthur are the 2 that we will not play next year. Then the following year we go to 2 non-conference games. However, the way it works is for the past 3 years they took how many wins each team has had in each division, and then you kind of rank them, and then you cross over into the other side and play. So with us playing in the Apollo, we've won a few games the last 3 years. So we ended up being in the 4th spot, so we will cross over, and our crossover games would be Quincy, Notre Dame, and Jacksonville. And then in our division, we'll have Chatham, Rochester, the 2 Decatur schools, Normal U High, and Lincoln. So those teams will play. Then we cross over. Well, it's not called a crossover game. The first 2 weeks are non-conference, but because we don't play Springfield, Lanphier, and Southeast, we did pick them up as non-conference games. So our football schedule is completed for the next 3 years.
Oh, wow, that's just confusing. Kind of went to sleep there a little bit. Lost me.
Yeah.
Did you keep all the banners from the old Central State 8?
No, we didn't.
You got to get all new, huh?
We're working on that, and
You got to change the name. Central State 11.
It's always been Central State 8, even when they had 10, and just like the Big Ten. They got 14?
Yeah, and gonna have
More
16?
Or maybe 16.
Yeah,
They'll have 16.
UCLA and is it Kansas? Is Kansas?
No.
No, UCLA, USC.
USC. There's somebody.
And talking about and more coming.
There'll probably be a couple more, I think.
Yeah, it'd be down to like 3 power schools, or power conferences, Big Ten, SEC, and the ACC. So, well, Coach, a big game tonight on the road. That's 6 o'clock, or
we start at 5:30. It was originally set for 1 and 2:30, but evidently they have something, wrestling, or kind of like we got. We have a junior varsity wrestling tournament out at Lincoln today. So if you're interested in wrestling, come on out. There's I think 15 or 16 teams out there, and
like 400 some kids or something.
That's tomorrow.
That's tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, tomorrow's the other thing. They have a big youth wrestling tournament, so a lot of wrestling out at the high school this weekend.
Yeah, I had it planned where we go to Mattoon, do the game, and then go to Charleston. The Beavers play EIU tonight, so yeah, but Mattoon didn't cooperate, so. Right, Jim? Yeah, so. All right, Coach, well, thanks for taking some time, making your debut. We always love you having you on here because you eat up about a half hour at a time, and, it makes our job a lot easier.
Yeah.
Right, Jim? All right, well, safe travels tonight, and as always, we'll have every game here on WLCN, and good luck tonight at Mattoon.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. Let's take a commercial break. We come back, we'll have Walt Landers. He's going to talk about the Railer Rumble tomorrow. If you got a young kid that wants to wrestle, I encourage you to take them out there tomorrow because, that's fun. And it's a lot of people, a lot of kids wrestling, and, it's a good time. So stay tuned. You're in the cheap seats, WLC and 96.3 FM.
Mom was always very self-sufficient, but we started noticing things were off.
Alzheimer's, it was hard to hear that.
Early detection gave us time to seek information and support.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
Have you ever seen somebody treated unfairly because of the color of their skin?
Do you guys know what it means to have white privilege?
What is racism and
What do you think about it?
Talk to young children about what racism is, giving them the language to understand it. They can be disruptors. They can shape and shift culture.
We may not always know the answer, but we'll try and help you learn.
You don't have to have all the answers, but that doesn't mean we can't start.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha 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 ha.
See, Smokey thinks I'm funny. This is Tim Kirkchin from ESPN, and you're listening to Cheap Seats on 96.3 FM, WLCN with Joe, Jake, and Shabadoo.
Furnishings today, and On with us now are Walt Landers and Tiffany Glenn. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
And you guys are here to talk about the Railer Rumble tomorrow. We talked a little bit off air. Sounds like it's a full house once again, 450 wrestlers. So I guess we'll start out with you, Tiffany. You do all the behind scenes registration.
Yep.
More of the, I guess, technical side of it. Tell us a little bit about what you do and how you got started.
Walt.
As she gives Walt a stink eye.
Yeah. Walt suckered me into it. I think we've been running on track wrestling. This is the 5th tournament. So
since 2017.
Yep. So all our registrations come through there. Payments come through there. We max out at 450 we try to max out at 450 every year, and we hit that a week early. We had some teams that don't normally bring big groups this year. So tomorrow morning we'll start weigh-ins, and it'll be all computerized. And then we'll close weigh-ins and start bracketing and printing, and then it's ready to rumble.
So 450 wrestlers in one day.
Mm-hmm.
That takes a lot of organization, a lot of time management, a lot of maybe yelling, get this. How do you orchestrate all that?
I like to assign some wrestling moms and dads to take certain duties and help me out, and they're kind of used to it by now, and everybody steps up. We have even kids that have went through the program and graduated high school, and their families still come back and help. And
what time does it start? 8?
Weigh-ins start at 6:30, and then wrestling starts about 9.
9, and then what time does it end?
Usually if there's no glitches, we should be done wrestling by 3 or 3:30.
Really?
About 6 hours.
That's crazy. So, I mean, time-wise, I mean, you got to keep things moving.
You have to be thinking ahead, while the bracketing's going. So there's 5 different age divisions. So, once the bracketing is done for the tots, which is the young guys, we're out there. We have to stage the kids and get them ready to go to the mat. So while Tiffany and her crew is still working on the other bracketing, we're getting those tots out on the mats and getting them rolling, and then we just start rolling through the next age groups, and then we just work our way through all the age divisions from young to old.
So it's very important for parents and coaches to get their wrestlers there, weighed in, get them through, and get ready to go.
Yes.
So I'm sure you guys kind of emphasize that during sign-ups, and a lot of returners, so they know the deal.
Yeah.
And going to different places is probably the same way.
Usually, the newer parents or newer coaches, you have to kind of educate them a little bit and get them to learn the ropes the way it needs to be done. And, and once that's done, like you said, each tournament is relatively the same. There might be a few different variations, but normally it's kind of the same process.
How long you been doing this?
This is our 20th anniversary this year.
20th anniversary. And then you've been doing it for
9.
9? Yeah. Okay, so it's been going on a long time.
I've been blessed with a lot of good families that like the Glens, the O'Donohues, the Brees, and people like that. That's really helped us out a lot, and been blessed with those good people.
So what you're saying is this thing runs itself. No, not at all.
I think we put on one of the best events in the state. That's my opinion. It's usually smooth. We usually don't have any issues, and if we do have a few issues, usually we're able to get right on top of them and get them corrected. We just got a good crew of people that know what they're doing, and we've been blessed with that, and everything goes smooth unless something shows up that we don't know about.
We're always prepared for it.
There's always a kink. We've been doing it long enough that we can get it fixed pretty quick.
Now, I know nothing about wrestling. I didn't grow up around it, never participated. But I've been out there, and just the way things run, and boy, these people, they take this serious.
Yeah, you get some coaching dads, and some of those people who get a little carried away sometimes. You got to set them back a little bit.
I mean, not just
calm
dads,
down. You're talking about
everybody.
And there's rules through our sanctioning body, which is the Illinois Kids Wrestling Federation, that try to help control that a little bit. But sometimes you just got to remind them about it, and calm down a little bit. We're not going for an Olympic or national championship here, especially with the little guys. Sometimes parents' expectations can exceed what the kids capable
what
of,
they can do,
or
and
what they can comprehend.
Right.
So
because I mean, you've been coaching for years. How do you teach a kid that young to wrestle? I mean, there's different techniques, there's different moves, there's all kinds of things. Do you just kind of teach them the basic techniques?
You try to. You can't really focus on that as much, but you try to give them the basic moves and things like that. But just to make sure that they have fun. You try to show them that. If you can get their attention for 10 minutes, try to show them and just make sure that they leave practice and have had fun doing it, so they'll come back again.
Right.
And I've told the parents, a lot of the younger kids' parents, says if we can get them through our tournament or through Christmas, we have 3 tournaments prior to Christmas that we go to, that's a good time frame for those younger kids. If we can get them there, then maybe it's time for their season to be done.
Right.
And the more competitive kids will stay around, and then we can concentrate on them a little more too.
Right, yeah. I've coached little kids in football, basketball, just to keep their attention for 10 minutes. And for them to put it together and do it, that's a chore in itself.
And each year it seems like it gets a little more challenging, or I have less patience, but I generally take the younger kids myself in my group, just because
they respond to you well.
They respond to me, but I'm patient enough to be able to, where some of the newer coaches or the other coaches might struggle with that. So
it's Grandpa Walt.
I've been around long enough that it's you just got to know how to handle them.
Right.
And I'm not easy on them.
Nope.
No.
Not at all.
Discipline and that type of stuff. If we can get that through their heads, that makes a big difference. So we focus a lot on that, not so much wrestling, but making sure that they know how they're supposed to behave, and what they should be doing.
And isn't that what sports is all about?
Exactly.
How you behave off the mat or off the court, off the field, how you present yourself in your community, and you're just
the sooner you can get those kids to understand that, the better off it's going to be for them, in the long haul.
Right. Now, do you have kids wrestling?
I do. My youngest is in the youth program.
Okay. How old's he?
He is 10.
10. And he's probably been doing it since
kindergarten.
He was 5 and obviously he likes it, and so are you one of those moms out there just kind of roaming the mat?
I hold my breath most of the time.
Right.
Yeah.
And is he developing well? I mean, where he should be, so we can expect him to kind of go through the ranks, and
that's what we hope.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you get help from Dietrich.
We couldn't do this. We couldn't do this without the help of Coach Dietrich and then the high school wrestling team. They provide a lot of our labor, during the tournament, and set up too. Moving the mats and getting the mats set up. So they have the JV tournament going on today. So once that JV tournament's done, then we have to transform it a little bit to meet our needs, because the gym set up, there's four large mats, and that's what the high school wrestles on today. And then once they're finished, we transform it, and we have 8 mats.
In the main gym?
In the main gym,
Do you use the back gym at all?
We have in the past, but that gets a little crazy. It's better to have. Last year we did.
Just everything
right here, and it's easier to manage.
Right.
So basically what we do is we'll go on those 4 big mats, and we put down 8 20-foot circles. So we just create wrestling mats within the wrestling mats. So we'll have 8 matches going on at one time. So
how do you facilitate officials for all this?
Dan Fulcher does the assigning of the officials for me.
He knows a little bit about that.
Yeah, Dan's a coach. He's a youth coach. Alex Dawson, those guys have been around a long time. I can think of 3 people that's been to every Rumble. This is our 16th.
Wow.
So I can only think of 3 people, and there may be others, but myself, my wife, and Alex Dawson. So over the last 16 years, that's the 3 that I can think of that's been at every Rumble from the beginning.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's nice that you have your support of your wife, because I'm sure
yeah,
she's probably the driver and the keep you in line.
Yeah, I'm thankful that she's allowed me to
keep doing it.
Keep doing it so far.
She probably just wants you out of the house.
No, that's true too.
I know that's typically how it works.
But my kids, my kids come back and help with the tournament every year. Yeah,
kids went through the program, and now they're like me, sitting around at home, nothing to do because your kids are gone.
We've actually had, I'm going to say, 5 different former youth wrestlers that have come back and officiated for us.
Okay.
We've got a group of kids, young guys this year that are still in high school that are going to be officiating. Tiffany has an older son, Colby, who will be officiating. We have, I think, Isaac Decker is supposed to be officiating. He's a senior this year, one of the better wrestlers in the program. And Jake Lawrence, who's a junior, come up through our program. All those kids have come up through our program since they were little guys. And then, in the past, Austin O'Donohue, Austin Swartz, some of those guys have come back and actually officiated matches.
Jake's employee, her son was a pretty good wrestler.
Nick, I heard Nick was at a practice here.
Was he?
Yeah, he was in town, I guess.
Yeah.
I think he's overseas, isn't he?
Yeah.
So he was back, and he went out to one of the high school practices.
That's nice when you get kids like that coming back. And
I didn't get a chance to visit with him or anything, but Nick actually worked for me when he was in high school or in college over the summers for about 4 years. So got to know Nick really well.
Yeah, so that's good when kids come back and still want to see how things are going.
Prior to our program.
Okay.
So he was before we got the program started.
So that was a while ago.
So so
lose track of time, man.
And then we've also got a couple of our former club wrestlers, at least one of them. Trevor Bree.
Yeah.
He helped last year coaching, and he's back again this year. So Justin Nguyen, who was a high school wrestler, didn't come through our program, but he's also helping us again this year. And then there's a couple other kids men that are looking at coming in and giving us a hand. So
never turn down help.
No,
because
at some point I got to be able to pass the torch.
That was my next question. I mean, we don't want to really get to that point yet because you love being involved,
I'm looking at stepping back a little bit,
just kind of
get everything, all the pieces in the right place, and
still be involved, but not as involved.
I've considered and probably will just look at being a director still.
Yeah.
But as far as coaching on the mat, I love doing it. I get a lot of enjoyment out of it. But over the years, damage to the joints and things like that. So
you can't get down.
My knees don't work the way they used to. So it's kind of difficult, and I don't think I'm giving the kids. Being able to give the kids what they need,
you can't get down there and show them.
Right, and other than a fat old man trying to show them what to do, you get younger guys in there, and that makes a big difference on the mat. Yeah. I think last year we seen a difference with Justin and Trevor being on the mat with the kids, and I think they gravitate more towards those younger guys.
Right.
So that's part of it also.
Gotcha. Yeah. And that's expected. So, all right. So, how can they contact you guys? I mean, registration right now is full, but if somebody wants to volunteer some help tomorrow and maybe concessions or something like that,
actually,
or for the future, how would they contact Lincoln Youth Wrestling?
If they look at our Facebook page, they can find contact information on there.
Okay.
We put out some press releases and things. It's got my phone number on it. That would be the best ways. I mean, a lot of people have my phone number, so if anybody's interested, just give me a call. And and another thing that we've been able to do with the tournament is contribute to the community.
Right.
Like you mentioned, concessions. In the last 16 years, we've never ran our own concession stand. We've always had groups come in and run it for us.
Okay.
So for several years, we had a group from the United Methodist Church when they had their youth mission team, which was part of my life, when we started all this. And they would come in, and we just have a crew of, like myself and Tiffany and some other moms. We went to Bloomington yesterday and went to Sam's and bought all the concession stuff, and we provide that for them, and then they run the stand for us, and then we give them a donation for doing that work for us. Right. Because you run into the situation where we're busy with all the other stuff or don't have enough people to do that.
Right.
And another thing that we've been able to do over the years is for people to get into our tournament, like a gate fee, we take a food donation for the food pantry.
Okay.
So we ask families per family, they can bring $5 worth of non-perishable food in, and that gets them into the tournament. Or they can make a $5 donation. So, and people over the years have been very generous, and we've been able to contribute to the monetarily and food-wise to the food pantry. And that right before Christmas, that's a pretty big thing. And we've been able to give them over the years, we've been able to give them a substantial amount of money.
And I'm sure the community, you tell them $5, they're going to bring you $20 worth of food.
Or if they don't have a $5, like I said, we've been very blessed with that too. Just the funds that we've been able to raise and be able to get back into the community. So.
Well, when you have a well-respected organization and yourself running it, people do kind of gather and want to help support that. So that makes a big difference.
And as a whole, as the wrestling community in Central Illinois and the different clubs, we're basically a family also. We get along very well. We help each other out for the most part. And it's just a great group of people all together, not just us, but the whole community in its own.
So you probably see the same people at each different venue.
Yeah, unless we decide to go to a tournament someplace else, out of the way. Usually we see the same people every week, which sometimes isn't good because these kids get to know each other pretty well.
Yeah.
There's kids like Isaac Decker. I know he's had a couple nemesises down south from Jacksonville and Auburn, that he's had to wrestle those kids all through his career and is still wrestling them in high school. That they've probably wrestled each other 20 or 30 times.
Well, if you're better than them, that's all right. But if you keep losing,
he's got a couple tough kids. So So, and that's just an example that I can think of where these kids are wrestling each other every weekend day, in and out.
The sport of wrestling has really taken off in the past several years, and even in Lincoln, you see it on the rise, and it's building up. Yeah. There for a while, it wasn't really.
Well, and that was my goal when we started the program. I went in and told the head coach at that time back in 2002, I said, I just got done finishing a coaching stint at the junior high, and I seen what we had, and I felt that there was a need for something for the younger kids so we can get them started. Mm-hmm. So I went to the head coach at the time and I said, look, if you want to start a kids program, I'll do it with you or do it for you. So that's how we got started, and then from then on we've been building it ever since.
I mean, we coached together in football, so I mean, is that just kind of something that, were you doing wrestling when we were doing football as well? Okay.
Yeah. I think I had you guys come in for security that first year.
Yeah.
And
Alex Booth.
Yeah. And the Steve Brown, Steve Ferris and some of those guys. Yep. You guys come in were my security.
Yeah.
So that first, I think that was the first tournament that we did. So
yeah, you're well known through the community. Well, you've been doing this a long time.
And I had a pretty extensive coaching career in youth football too.
Yeah, that's
in and out a few different times. I probably did that for about 17 years or so.
Yeah, man, that's a long time ago when we were doing
I got a passion for youth and like to do the best I can for them, and
you do
provide them a good example, hopefully.
Well, you've been doing a great job. You walk through Lincoln and a lot of respectful young men, young kids, and hopefully they just follow that same path. And we got to keep them involved in something. I know 2020 was a lost year for everybody, where a lot of kids just kind of gave up sports and just kind of.
Well, this would be our 17th. Rayla Rumble because we lost one.
We lost a year
because of COVID and stuff. Yeah.
So we need to get kids back out doing something, getting involved in some kind of activity, because I mean your kids probably suffered it. You know, when you can't go anywhere, you're stuck inside, and a lot of kids, their social skills were struggling before that. You know, the technology and things like Cell phones were just a demise of youth.
Right.
They don't know how to communicate.
Nope, not at all.
They communicate texting.
They'll be sitting by each other texting.
I'm like,
You know, out and about, and some of the younger kids that you see that you coached over the years, and you've probably experienced the same thing a little bit, maybe, I don't know, but they want to. It seems like they want to try to avoid talking to you.
Yeah, it's a little awkward.
Yeah, and I try to get them cornered. And make them talk to me. So
you're gonna talk to me, boy,
just to find out how they're doing. You know, find out what's going on, and that.
Well, Walt, I know you got a busy day today. I'm sure you're probably helping out there a little bit, and
we'll be there.
I'm waiting for them to get out so you can get
Once
your stuff
finished,
situated.
They will transform the gym, and
sounds like a long day, long night, and tomorrow I'm sure to go without a without a hitch.
Anybody else is like. We have to thank the administration at the school. People need to realize what we have.
Yeah.
As far as our facilities and things like that, we're very blessed to have those facilities and to be able to use them. The administration, Coach Al, has always been very good to us, as far as access and helping us out when we needed it too. So we would like to thank all those people and the people in the community that aren't involved that have supported us over the years also.
Absolutely, and there's too long of a list to...
Yeah, I don't want to start mentioning names.
You're going to forget somebody.
Exactly.
And that phone's going to ring and be like, why didn't you mention my name? Well, just didn't happen. Well, guys, thanks for coming on today. It's a great thing you're doing. I know there's a lot of hard work, a lot of sweat and tears behind it, and it sometimes goes unnoticed, but people do appreciate what you're doing. A lot of times you're not going to get you're doing great. It's more of the other side of it where they're going to complain and moan, but it just comes with the territory. But you guys do a great job, and we look forward to supporting you in the future.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem. We're going to take our last commercial break. We got about 10 minutes to go. We're going to talk, the World Cup. You been following soccer, Jim? You a soccer guy? Yeah. Okay, all right. We'll take a commercial break. We'll come back and we'll finish up here on the Cheap Seats, WLCN 96.3.
Donating pet food can keep families together. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. So if you want to talk to your kids, you got to get it trending. I was just trying to get your attention.
Could I just ask?
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
Of NBC Sports Philadelphia. I cover the Phillies, and you are listening to Cheap Seats with Joe, Jake, and Shabadoo on 96.3 FM WLCN.
The sports show, Jim. You bring in Coach Neil Alexander, and you bring in Walt Landers and Tiffany Glenn, and before you know it, we have a show.
We have a show.
We have an agenda.
The agenda was pre-made.
The agenda was fantastic.
Phoned in by Walt Landers
Can't
and
thank
Coach
them
Al.
enough. Who needs index cards when you got those three people? So one thing we can look forward to is Coach Neil Alexander on with us every Saturday morning at 9 o'clock as the Railers are in full swing now. Jake, he mentioned that no games during the week this week, and now he's got 4 games in 8 days. So it's a tough stretch there. But that week that you have in between Thanksgiving and this weekend, it's 5 days of practice where you've got 4 games under your belt, and you know what you need to work on. And those 5 days are very crucial in how to coach your kids up and work on some of those things that need improved.
Well, I have to think that it's a big thing for the kids and the coaching staff to see how the kids have changed from pre-summer and during the summer practices to now, their aggressiveness and whatnot. I know Coach Al last year, he was really pushing. We really need to be more aggressive. So I'm sure I'm sure that's may have a lot to do with Drew playing a little bit more and getting a starting nod. You know, he is a very aggressive young man and growing into his body and whatnot, and that's going to be a big deal moving forward for them, and just to kind of feel out the team. So,
yeah. Well, he talked a little about Drew, how kind of maybe he may not be in the starting lineup, but that doesn't mean he's not going to get his time.
Correct.
I just think it's kind of detrimental for a young kid like that to maybe take it all in, see how the game's, the move, the flow of the game, and then go in, and learn that way instead
he got his feet wet a little bit last year.
Yeah.
This year, obviously, getting a little bit more, and he's growing too.
Yeah, and you're a big kid like that and taking a beating on guys a couple years older than you. The physical part of basketball, like Coach Al said, it's a physical game. So,
it was funny how he said that it's more physical than what it was. In my mind, watching it, from the fans' perspective,
it was physical back then.
It was. I feel like the guys in the box, the big guys, were way more physical.
Yeah.
I mean, they were really beating on each other. And now, not as much. They're stepping out a little bit further. A lot of the big guys now shoot threes.
Yeah.
And I think Brian Cook was a little bit of that too. He'd step out and hit a longer range shot, whereas you look at Jeff, who was kind of an in-between guy. He didn't quite have the height that you wanted to be the big guy, but he played the big man role. He took a pounding.
Yeah.
I mean, every single game would just he'd get the big guy from the other team, and he would just get whooped on. And it's more physical as it goes to. You're out near the three-point line. You're hand checking more. You're pushing more. You're able to get up in them like that more. But down low, I don't think it's as physical.
Right. Well, we've only got a couple minutes here left. Jake, winter meetings are going to be starting up this coming week. They're going now. Okay. We saw DeGrom sign with the Rangers.
Big sign right there.
And so.
It's odd how Texas goes out and they do this every so often. They did it with A-Rod, and they did it with a couple other guys. They'll throw a huge contract to somebody, get them in, and then do nothing else.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that.
I think they're just trying to set the market,
And that might be.
But why? You're not helping yourself.
I was surprised DeGrom signed that early because I think he is the name on the market.
Yeah, I thought he would maybe feel it out a little bit and see.
Or see what Verlander was going to sign first, because I feel like Verlander, being up there in age, I think he wants to get his signing taken care of so he knows where he's going and can start working on his off-season workouts. So I really thought Verlander was going to be first, but it's interesting DeGrom said, this is where I'm going. So
okay, well. Got paid.
Yeah, he got paid.
He got paid. So things should start falling in place here in the next couple weeks, because baseball is right around the corner, February.
Pitchers and catchers
couple
right
months.
Corner.
So, although was it last year where the free agency just took forever? Nothing really kind of, huh?
Yeah, the lockout, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Lockout had a lot to do with that.
It was into spring training. Guys were still signing.
Yeah. So without the lockout, I think we'll have a little better idea here in the next couple weeks. What your teams are going to look like. I know the Cubs need a lot. The Cardinals, they probably need some things.
They need some things. Although if you talk to Mozeliak, he needs a catcher and no starting pitching.
Okay.
Which is awkward considering we have a few solid starting pitchers, but we don't have what you would call an ace on the team as of right now.
Yeah.
So
everybody needs an ace. Everybody needs good players. So you got to open up the checkbook, just like Jim does with us. He opens up the checkbook.
I feel the Cubs are trying to do some rebuilding. I think it's going to be an awkward year, but I think they're setting it up for the following year. That's what it looks like.
Is that what they're doing?
That's what it looks like.
They better do something. I mean, they owe it to their fan base. They owe it to me.
Do they?
Yeah.
2016 wasn't enough. I thought 2016 was enough. That gave you everything you ever dreamed of.
Just gave me a taste of heaven, and it was so enjoyable. And the past couple years,
they slap you in the face.
Not so much. Just hit me in the face again. But yeah, I want to root for something.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm rooting for the USA World Cup going on right now.
That's fun.
Yeah, that's fun. Taking on the Netherlands as we speak.
I didn't. This year, it really seems like the World Cup is really taking a little more hold here in the United States. The viewership's way up.
Yeah, it is.
It's entertaining. It's fun to watch. I mean,
see how this goes. But I mean, this is why soccer keeps expanding in the U.S. And if it has a good show, if they have a good showing over there, we'll see what.
Did you ever play soccer?
Yes, but no. No, I did not.
Too much running.
Did I get asked to play on a couple games, and did I play? Yes, I did. And I wasn't that bad, but yeah, there's a lot of running involved.
But you weren't that good either.
I think I shot on 2 goals and made 1.
Oh, well, 50%.
So, I mean, I did this little kick thing, and Dale Miller was pretty impressed by it. So, I mean,
can you show us?
No.
Scoot this out.
I'm pretty sure I would throw my back out if I tried now. But
okay.
No, that was back in the day. They had some indoor soccer and whatnot going on, and one of my best buddies, John Loha, he was one of the team captains there with Dale Miller, and it was fun to hang out with friends and do something,
Just kind of kick
They needed
on.
an extra player, and I said, okay, I'll try it.
Pulling guys off the street.
Yeah, I'll try it.
Okay.
So,
right.
So no, I was not not a soccer guy.
Not a soccer guy. Well, me either. And I've been watching USA. Just don't understand the rules.
You know what? I don't either, but I find that I think it's more fun to watch than hockey.
No.
I'm going to say right now.
I will disagree with you there, huh? Well, yeah. I don't know because I was watching the other night, the USA.
Don't use your hands.
Last week, or was it Tuesday? I was watching USA and taking on Iran, and had a fast. I don't know if it's called a fast break, but a guy got it blown and kicked a goal, but they called him offside. I don't know. In hockey, I know there's
similar rules.
Similar, but. Yeah. He was the only guy across. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. Don't know the rules. We need to get Stookie in here and explain the rules of soccer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I just don't understand them.
He's glued to the TV with this.
I'm sure.
He is.
Absolutely. So, all right. Well, that's going to do it for us today. I'm surprised Jim hasn't queued it up yet. He loves being in our presence. Because when
is that what it is?
Yeah. He loves being around us. So, all right. I got to thank Coach Al for coming in today. Lincoln Railers traveling to Mattoon tonight. Catch all the action here on WLCN 96.3 FM, and you can watch us on YouTube. Also, big shout out to Walt Landers and Tiffany Glenn. They come in today talking about the Railer Rumble tomorrow, where 450 kids will take to the mat.
Wow.
In a matter of 6 hours.
Yeah.
You do the math. That's going to do it for us today on the Cheap Seats. We'll talk to you next week.
Good day.
The preceding program is a presentation of WLCN 96.3 FM and WLCNonline.com.